Hey, I'm Sébastien from Fall of Seraphs, and you're listening to What's Metal.
Okay, so it's great that we can sit together here today. It's a very unusual situation for us because first of all, I am in Paris right now. Yeah, you guys are from roughly the Bordeaux area, right, in France, and also on top of all of that, there is a massive transportation strike in France today. Yeah, like I mean, there are no buses going, there's no metro going, there are no flights going, I believe, no trains. So my first question is kind of like fairly obvious. Like, how did you get here? Like, how did you manage?
We drove. Basically, we just thought, if we don't do it now, we don't know when we can do it. So let's take the car. We'll see when we get there. If we can play, we'll play. If we can't, we'll do something else. Just drive.
Okay. Very good, very good. No, I like the enthusiasm, and I hope that a good crowd will show up. Yeah, I mean the place isn't too big, but. I hope for the best, yeah, for tonight. Okay, so the reason why I'm here today is because I heard of your band through your label, basically, yeah, Memento Mori. But then at the same time, our listeners don't know your band, yeah. So maybe you can introduce us a little bit to who you are and how you started and what the whole band is about.
Sure. Basically, we are the third iteration of Fall of Seraphs. There's been a lot of lineup changes through the years. It started in 2014, and there's just Vincent, the drummer, left from the start. The singer and I came aboard around 2015, and then Thomas and then Julian the bass. We play what we call traditional death metal. Like it's really based on what we like to hear, which is American death metal from the 90s, but European as well. Some bands like Morbid Angel or Crabather or Obscenity, really the basics, and we just mix our own personal influences in it, like a touch of black metal, touch of grindcore, what we feel like. And we just a few months ago released our first full length, which came through with Memento Mori, with Raoul, which is a great guy and great label. And just give it a listen, and if you like it, just get in touch and come have a beer in Bordeaux, whatever.
Yeah, I mean the good thing about radio is that we can play some of your songs. Yeah, so the audience is going to hear a few of your tracks tonight. So, yeah, well, I mean, you probably provided already quite some information on what would have been my next question, right? No, that's don't worry. I mean, when I actually played the record for the first time, I was expecting this to be maybe something like atmospheric death metal, yeah, because the way the record starts is, you know, with the guitars and, you know, and then the other instruments come in, and then you have this kind of like a break, and then it's a full-blown death metal attack. Yeah, was this done on purpose to kind of like surprise the listeners?
I wouldn't say surprise, but it was on purpose. Yeah, it was like just get some kind of oppressive atmosphere and just a bit of progress and just break everything and start like real hard, real fast, just to not in the maybe a surprise, but just to put an atmosphere on and just, fuck it, let's play death metal.
Another thing that you just mentioned a minute ago was that, older bands that maybe inspired you or that you orientate along in terms of the style that you're playing. In fact, actually, sometimes that's, to me, actually, that's actually fairly obvious, right? So, for example, a song like Psychotic Troubled Senses, like when I heard that for the first time, I thought, okay, there's a big touch of Chapel of Ghouls from Morbid Angel in there, yeah?
Yeah. I kind of realized that afterwards. Just the first version of the song was like, we played it like maybe 2 times, and I was like, no, this is too much Chapel of Ghouls. So we changed. We really liked the feeling, so we changed But yeah, it's clearly it was roughly the same riff, and it doesn't change that much. But we don't try to bring much new things on the table. We really want to play death metal, so it's a style which is roughly 30, 40 years old maybe, so it's not like everything's been done, but a lot of things been done. So just play for the fun. Sometimes you just play a riff which has been done before.
Another thing that struck me when I listened to the record was that the bass guitar is nice and audible, so you can really follow what the bass guitar is playing. On a lot of current recordings that are being released, this is actually not really that possible. Yeah, a lot of the murky, sloggy death metal that's being released. I don't know, it's just sometimes just like a wall of noise or big swamp. Yeah, you can't really hear the instruments separately anymore. So that's, I think, a really positive aspect. You're not playing the bass guitar, but have there been any discussions within the band on how to balance the sound?
It's been quite natural, really, because it's the sound which he likes to play with. And even the rough mix, it was like, yeah, we can hear everything's fine, just a bit of touches, a mix, right? But the bass was like clear and punchy, and it was distinct from the guitar, so we just, no, don't touch it, just mix it good, but don't reamp or whatever. The sound was great from the start. It's a bit, it's clear, but it's also distorted, so yeah, I think it's great.
All right. Another thing that I would like to touch on would be the vocals. You have a singer. His name is Olaf, I believe, right? And the thing is, he's one person doing the vocals, but then again, on the record, you have kind of like two layers of vocals, and sometimes they kind of like overlap. You have the classical death grunt, but then you also have this more like shrieky, kind of like, I don't know, mad, insane, screaming layer on top of that. So how are you dealing with that in the live situation? It's very akin. I mean, for our audience, like early Deicide, they use this approach as well. Yeah. So how do you deal with that in the live situation?
Well, actually, there's Olaf singing, and there's Julien on the bass, which sings backup vocals, also on the record. So,
right, I didn't know that. Yeah, okay.
So on live, they just manage their backing vocals. Sometimes just one sings, not the other. They just balance everything. The writing is all done by Olaf. So, that's it actually.
But it's good that you say this because we only got the digital promo version of the record, so obviously the information is limited. Yeah, so I don't know.
And on the booklet, actually, it was done really. It was not planned. Yeah. So.
Okay, this is great. We get some very exclusive insider information here that nobody else knows. Yeah, unless they ask you smart questions. Yeah. So yeah, I mean,
have any smart answers, anyways.
All right, so maybe we have a limitation there. Yeah, so sorry. What's the scene like for death metal in general in France? I have to admit that I'm probably not really up to date of what's going on. What's your impression? Is it strong? Is there a lot of stuff going on?
There is a lot of stuff going on. There are a lot of really good bands. The public's not always there, but can do a thing. But there are old bands like Merciless, which still play, which are really active. There are some young bands, like the bands we have just seen tonight, which is not really death metal per se, but bands like start and play, and it's cool. There are some really good bands like I don't know. There was Putrefiance, but they split up, which was on Memento Mori also. There are really good bands. Maybe it's hard to play live, at the moment since COVID and everything, because well, a lot of organizers had to shut down because money. Yeah. But the spirit's there, the bands are here. When we can play, we play, and there are all now several generations of bands playing together, and I think it's great. I think it's a really good period for death metal in France, just maybe more live.
Yeah, we're going to see what happens. Yeah. So I mean, the important thing is that the younger generation kind of like picks up the torch, yeah, and keeps it alive. Yeah. Yeah. So I really enjoy the cover artwork of the album. Yeah. I think this looks incredible. Obviously, like, you know, the immediate thought is, oh yeah, maybe one should have that as a poster on the wall, or at least, you know, have it in vinyl size or whatever. Yeah. But as far as I know, the record is released in CD format. Yeah. So are there any plans to put it on vinyl at some point?
We'd love to. We haven't found any label interested so far, but we're open. If there's any German label around, hey, get in touch.
I mean, it just takes a long time to get the stuff printed. Yeah.
We'll try. We have been in contact with several, but apparently it's really expensive right now due to the cost of matières premières. I don't know how to say that. Raw materials, maybe. So it's not going to come now, but as soon as we can, it will be on vinyl, and we're really glad.
So now, since you mentioned Germany, are there any plans to play abroad as well? Have you played abroad before? Because I mean, you know, where you're located, to the west you have the Atlantic Ocean, right? And then to the east there's a lot of France before anything else starts. And to the south, well, I mean, yeah, you could play in Spain maybe, yeah. But but you know, so what have you done in terms of gigs so far?
So far we only played in France, I think. Yeah. We've been a lot in the western part, obviously. A lot in the east. So we travel quite a lot in France. Never abroad so far. We are actually working on a potential tour next autumn, which would be Spain, France, and Belgium, maybe Netherlands. I don't know yet, but we are working on that. It's not really easy, but we try. We'd love to play everywhere, actually. So as soon as the opportunity comes, if we can do it, we'll do it.
Right. Okay, so maybe sooner or later they might show up in front of our door. Yeah, so we hope for that. So the show is called What's Metal? Yeah, I mean, from your perspective, what do you think is metal? Is there a definition for it? Can you describe it somehow, or you know, what does it mean to you?
To me, it's mainly the energy that you give out as a musician. I mean, it's really what you give. When you listen to, be it heavy metal or thrash metal, death metal, black metal, the common thing to me is really everyone is like giving their guts out and just want to go fast, make some noise, make some good melodies, just do it. Like, I like I wouldn't say raw, because it's not raw, it's often worked and everything, but really, I don't have the word, but energetic, maybe. I for me, metal is all about the energy. I don't want to sound like a hippie, but really just people just giving all they got. When you look at a musician walking out stage, he's drenched in sweat. He can barely walk. I mean, like, that's metal.
All right, so we have to come to an end slowly. We don't have too much time on the radio, obviously. Is there anything else that you would like to add? Some comments or some statements for our listeners?
The first thing, I would like to thank you. It was glad meeting you, and it's really cool that you interviewed us. Hi, Germany. I hope we'll see you soon live. Hi, What's Metal, everyone. I don't know how many you are, but it's cool. Thanks a lot.